You're enjoying Racing World. It's brought to you by Perspective Group. It's your global motorsport podcast show brought to you in conjunction with Race Control Magazine.
Well, it's the start of March and it means two things. One, Formula One starts this weekend. Two, IndyCar ain't that far away. It's Racing World for the beginning of March. Well, as we kick off this edition of Racing World, the Formula One teams are set to do battle in the desert in Bahrain once again. I went there a few years ago, or quite a few years ago now, when V8 Supercar went there, and it's an amazing circuit. Difficult place to get to, but it's an amazing circuit. What will we see in Formula One this year? More of Max? I kind of think we might be in for that, but I think there's some surprises coming from Mercedes. That new front-end suspension that they've kept very, very quiet about seems to be a little bit trick, as does the front wing. All perfectly legal, so let's see if they can develop that into something. And of course there's Ferrari as well, that had strong pace over the long runs, maybe not so much in their shorter runs in the test sessions that they had, but the long run pace was good, and that's something that they kind of lacked a little bit last year. So it will be very interesting to see this first Grand Prix of the year. Is it a form guide? No, it's not, because Bahrain is quite unique as a circuit, and it's not till we get probably to as far as Melbourne that we're starting to see a little bit of true form. But anyway, Formula One is underway, and IndyCar is not that far behind it. IndyCar, like Formula One, conducted a 2-day test rather than a 3-day test like F1 did. It's Sebring this week. Now, what do you read into tests? Not a lot, really. Sometimes it's new team members getting in touch with new team members, or new drivers, or new combinations of things, or movements within the team. What it does do at Sebring is it shows us a fairly rough track surface, which is very similar to what the teams will ultimately meet at St. Pete for that opening round. So it'll be quite interesting to see how this grid juggles itself out. Remember, it's a 27 car full-time entry in IndyCar, and we're certainly looking at the 33 for the Indy 500 in May, and the current rumour has that we'll get to 36, so there'll be 3 guys that go home ultimately in the month of May, but that's still 70 odd days away yet, so let's wait and see. But I'm looking forward to St. Pete. It'll be a lot of things that'll transpire there. It's always good to get points on the board at the beginning of the season, and remember last year there was the multi-car pile-up, or several of them in the end, so it bodes interesting times at St. Pete. People need to remember to be patient. There's a championship season ahead, and that applies to Indy next, where we'll see Callum Hughes make his debut into the series, and it looks like young Liam Skeets, the winner of the New Zealand Grand Prix, will make his debut in USF Pro, and I'm really, really excited about that. And well done, Liam. I look forward to seeing you there, and hopefully catching up with you in a few weeks after that as well. So, moving to the test, no better place to start with than a very upbeat Alex Palou.
Yeah, super excited. It's great to be back, almost starting the season again. We had a very long off season. Even if it's only 1 week, it feels too long, since we've been back to work and back at the track. So we had an amazing year in 2023. We have a new partner, as you can see on the colors, which is great to have DHL on board, and hopefully we can bring another championship to the team, fight for every single race as we did the past year, and we're gonna try and have some fun. Yeah, nowadays we don't get as many test days as we would like. We would always want to have a lot of test days, but honestly it's super important when we are only 1.5 weeks out of St. Pete. We want to go through a lot of the engineering list that we've been thinking about all of season. We won't have enough time, but it's a way to get the rest of the drivers, just all the crew, all the team together, and try and get some ideas for St. Pete.
Well, Alex, looking splendid, you might say, in that new DHL yellow. It certainly is quite a nice paint job that they've delivered to the car and to the race suit as well. A little bit of a transitional move from how it was when it was once at Andretti Autosport, but Alex very upbeat, and you'd have to say he could end up being the man to beat yet again. The other person, of course, as we're working our way through the list, is the defending Indy 500 champion, Joseph Newgarden, back of course at Team Penske, and very upbeat as well.
It's great to be back. This is always like the first day of school. We said it last year, and it's what it feels like, everyone coming back together. I feel excited. It's a long off season to think about things and try and prepare to be better. And there's a lot of areas I think we fell short last year, even though it was a tremendous season. I think winning the Indy 500 was by far the highlight. It makes it a great year. But we want to have a more complete season in 2024, and so we're all very focused on that. Excited to be here with the two crew and ready to get going soon. Yeah, St. Pete for me is always, it's a place you want to get on the board. You know, you just want to put some points up there. It doesn't have to be a win situation, but I think showing up, having good performance, giving everybody confidence. A top 10 is really nice to have. A top 5 is even better. Of course, if we can get a win, we're going to try and take it, but I think just putting points on the board is really critical to start the year. And getting that cadence going. I mean, there's so much ebb and flow to a season. I mean, it can change really quick, as everybody knows in IndyCar. So just trying to get that consistency started early is really critical. I don't think the cars are going to be crazy different, but they're slightly lighter. Lap times will probably reflect that, just marginally. I mean, don't expect a huge jump, but there's going to be a little bit of performance there. And then I think for everybody, we're preparing for sort of the season of two halves. You're going to start the year in one form, and then it's about how do we adapt to the hybrid change. And I think that's front of mind for everybody. We've got to be strong in the beginning of the season, and we've got to be strong through the adaptation with the hybrid system. And that's the challenge in motorsports. You're always getting thrown new obstacles, and that's going to be the big one this year. So excited to tackle that. I think we've got the opportunity to make the most of it, and it's going to be exciting. Things will change, and we'll see how everybody reacts.
Now, it was Palau that topped the timesheets on the first day. Again, as I said, you can't read too much into this. You don't know. Obviously, it's very clear to see what type of tyre they're running, but we've got no idea of the fuel loads, wing settings, and other bits and pieces in the car and what the team's agendas were. But another one to watch, I think, this year, and he had his debut win last year at Long Beach, and that's Andretti Global's Kyle Kirkwood.
Yeah, it's super important. I mean, we sit a lot of the off-season not able to do much, so this is a big warm-up. This is the first time that our car's been on track since Laguna. So, I mean, really just working all the gremlins and getting everyone up to speed, whether we have new engineers or new pit crew or what it might be. I mean, that's really what this test is about. It's just getting the rust off and getting ready for St. Pete so we don't have any of these gremlins and we can roll out into practice at St. Pete and just go fast. I think for us at Andretti, last year, St. Pete didn't go very well. We were pretty much 4 cars out, essentially. I mean, I finished a few laps down in 15th, and I was the best finishing car for Andretti, and that shouldn't really be the case for us on street courses. So it kind of sets the mood for the year, and we want to start off on the right foot and kind of redeem ourselves from last year, because we were at one point running 1, 2, 3, and we finished 15th, 22nd, 26th, and 20. Whatever it was. So yeah, we're ready for the season. We're ready to go, and it's always good to be at this place because this is kind of the warm-up for everything.
So that was the end of the first day. There was not really a lot to read into that. Dixon midfield, Armstrong midfield, a lot of people there. There was some people that you'd expect to be at the, towards the bottom were still there. We moved on to day 2, and really I think this was a very important statement here, in the fact that Marcus Ericsson topped the timesheets with his new team, Andretti Global, and he looks very, very comfortable there.
It's about a lot of learning processes, learning the people, learning the car. Everything is new, obviously, so today is a very important day. We don't get a lot of tests these days, so we need to maximize. But yeah, we just had a really good morning session, so that's positive. And we're feeling, excited about going to St. Pete. The driver-engineer relationship in IndyCar is the most important one. And I've been very lucky to work with Brad the last 4 years. He's an incredible engineer, and we had a lot of success together. But I'm also incredibly lucky to get Olivier here in Andretti. He's a really good engineer, really good guy, and we get along really well. So that relationship, obviously, we're working on that and understanding each other each day better and better. But so far, it's been great.
Another one that looks comfortable, but he always tries to portray that, is Pato O'Ward, and he had a good run in the McLaren as well. Rossi was up there, and of course David Malukas not there at the moment due to the wrist injury he had from a mountain bike accident. So it's on the back foot right from the word go in his new move from where he was to the McLaren team. So not a good start for the season for Malukas. So hopefully he'll be ready to race in time for St. Pete. But yeah, Pato, I never quite know what to read into him. He deserves a race win for sure. It's coming, and I think that will be the thing that then sets the avalanche off once he gets that first race win. But as always, very upbeat, Pato O'Ward.
2 test days here in Sebring. Yesterday I was in David's car. We wish him a speedy recovery. So really just getting all the systems up and running, trying to get gremlins out if we've got any, and truly just prepare and arrive with the best package possible for St. Pete. Once we get going, it's not a lot of track time. So it's crucial to arrive with the strongest package possible. And today I'm back with my 5 crew guys and gals, and really looking forward to getting this 2024 underway. Basically, what you're looking for is just different types of patches: concrete, asphalt, bumpy. That's what you get in a natural street course. With years that go by, some surfaces get rougher, some of them, get redone. So you really don't know what to expect up until you get there, but you expect to get a little bit of everything.
And then rounding out the drivers we got to get these grabs from, courtesy of my friends at IndyCar Media, was Graham Rahal. Now this is a car that's been at the back of the field or near the back of the field for most of last season, and here was Rahal on the second day of testing, topping a top 5 position. What's it mean? Well, Lundgaard was up there as well, so I think it means that they may have something for the street type scenario. Of course the ovals are a different ball game altogether, but it was a very upbeat Graham Rahal that we get to hear from.
Yeah, I mean, the first and only, I feel like, test day for us of the year. I think everything's shaping up really well. I mean, we started the day, the car was pretty loose in the first run, and I thought we made some good changes. We ran basically what our teammates ran yesterday. Of course, with my size, my weight, the balance of the car is quite different just because of where the center of gravity is, but weight distribution. But having said that, I thought we made really good gains this morning. Really limit on tires, 3 tires all day, so really just run one set this morning, and we'll see how the fifth third bank car is this afternoon. Well, right now, this moment, in this time, it's very thrilling because we're almost there, It's a long off season, particularly for those of us who didn't do the hybrid testing and stuff. It's been a long off season. There's been a lot of question marks as to when we're going to run and what's going to happen, and so to be able now to get on track, knowing that St. Pete's only 10 days away or so, it's pretty sweet. So we're looking forward to it. It's also nice to shake the cobwebs off this close to the season too, in some regard, because you'll be fresh getting in the car next week and ready. So I'm pumped. I mean, yeah, I've done a lot of years of this, but every year is something different. Every year throws different curveballs at you, and I hope that this is our best year ever.
So there you go, 27 cars will take to the green flag in just a few weeks' time at St. Pete, and it'll be very interesting to see the reactions of the drivers that we just heard from as to how they are come St. Pete. That is always the turning point. And of course, within the Rahal organisation, Sato will be back for the Indy 500. Here's a look at what his car looks like, and I think it looks pretty smart actually. There's some very nice paint schemes going around, and in the oval specification, the cars just look simply amazing. And just speaking of that, it was interesting this week that the Ed Carpenter Racing Team revealed one of their paint schemes for one of their cars, very, very similar to what has now been chosen as a favourite colour scheme in F1, and it's of Saber. This one obviously of Ed Carpenter Racing, but the black and green certainly seems to work quite well. Speaking of names of the past, of course, there's 2 that are no longer necessarily racing in the IndyCar Series, and that is Juan Pablo Montoya and Tony Kanaan. Both will be inducted into the IMS Hall of Fame in the coming weeks, and that's a big move in recognition probably for what they've done at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and to the sport overall. So great to see those 2 acknowledged. TK obviously now with a role at McLaren as a driver, mentor, coach, and Montoya very close to what his son is doing in racing as well. So we'll probably see more Montoyas, or the name Montoya, in the future, maybe even at the Indy 500. And then there was one other thing that crossed my desk this week, and that was the debut or the announcement of the Dan Weldon movie, which is coming out very soon in the States, and hopefully we'll see it in a global form where you'll be able to see it on whatever platforms are available. I knew Dan very well for many years when he was a teammate of Scott Dixon, and even when he was at Andretti Green as it was then. Likeable guy, always very funny, very tongue-in-cheek, loved to wind us up because he felt that we supported Dixon rather than him. Just a great all-round guy. Saw him for his second or both his Indy 500 wins, and obviously the second one I was there for as well. Had a great relationship with him. Truly missed the guy, and it was such a tragic accident that took his life, but it'd be very interesting to see this movie when it comes out. I think it's very fitting, and his young sons are doing the job right now, so great to see that that's on the horizon, and it'll be very good. One other piece of news just before we go, relating back to Formula One. Obviously by the time this comes out, we'll know a bit of the form guide for the season ahead. As I said, not really a true season form guide, but the interesting thing is that things are not completely clear in Vegas right now. The contract was never fully signed with Clark County, which manages the area of the Strip, as opposed to the Tourist Commission that helped put the Grand Prix deal together. So I think there's more spice in that. And Clark County is saying that they're only in for 3 years, and the Las Vegas Tourism Board saying it's a 10-year deal with Liberty Media. So again, watch that space. It's certainly one that's going to have much more transpire to it. And the city of Vegas far more enjoyed having Super Bowl in their town than they did F1. But there you go, that's just the price they pay. But anyway, that's a little bit of a quick snippet around IndyCar as the countdown continues, and more next week relating to Formula One, and of course the countdown to that first race at St. Pete. Thanks very much for watching Racing World again. Don't forget to share, like and subscribe, and we'll catch up with you again soon.